Okay folks, this one's going to get loud and we're going to get straight into it. I just want to show you sometimes how I'm processing drums using one of my favourite distortions, which is the 100 Grit by Schlappi Engineering. I've had this module for a number of years. I've always been meaning to do a video on this one and I just haven't got round to it for whatever reason. So sorry to Eric and the Schlappi team for not getting this one out earlier. What I'm going to show you, I'm going to show you how I use this to process drums and hi-hats and just create brutal beats. This thing is it's just so good at doing it for a number of reasons. One is that the range of distortion that you can get out of this and the way it glues things together is absolutely brilliant. Number two is that it retains a lot of the low end, which you sometimes want to keep in your kick drum if you just don't want it square waving out like some distortions do. Then this is the one for you. The other one, it's kind of performative. So number three, it's got these kind of touch buttons here which allow you to kind of arc, I guess, some of the internal circuitry and take it off in some crazy directions. And the last one, number four, is the amount. You've got two inputs on it. You've got feedback mechanism as well within it. You've got two outputs that you can utilize, and then you've got like three, in fact 4 inputs for CV control for various different things as well. So let's just get straight into this, and I will say there's going to be some volume jumps in this one, so do watch your speakers. I'll do my best. I am doing a little bit of light compression just on the output just to help with that, but that's all. It's just very light. So let's have a listen to the drums as they are. This is the quad drum voice over here by VPME, and yeah, this is really cool. You can load your own samples into this. You can have 4 running at any time. You've got some controls over pitch, decay and mod, and you've got some CV inputs. You've got some mutes as well, so you can kind of just mute things, which is really quick to navigate, and there's even some mixing that you can do within this. It's really cool. Sometimes I just layer up 4 kick drums in this, change the pitch and decay of them all, glue them together. I'll do a video on that separately. So that's the clean drums, just hi-hat, kick, sequence from Steppy. Then let's bring it in to the 100 Grit here. So I'm coming into input 1, and I suppose I should turn up the gain. Before I've even got to 9 o'clock there, this thing's growling. I will say that there's a bit of you can play around with like the input gain, so you could just go very gently in and then max out the overall gain. It will give you a different flavor as opposed to a heavy input and a low gain. So I'm going to leave that about 12 and go from there. Now, we haven't played with any of the controls here. You've got big kind of frequency sweep here, so we can get rid of some of that top end if we want to. We've got resonance on that as well. Yes. You can see where I'm going with this straight away, right? This thing is just awesome. And if you've got nothing plugged into input 2, I believe it can create a feedback loop into there. But actually what I like to do is take the second output and go straight, I'm giving away all my secrets now, and go into input 2 here. And you can get some interesting tonal shaping. I'll come back to that though. Let's just continue exploring a little bit more. So we've got, this is like the feedback. And it really plays with that filter cut off. We've got this, which is called Dis 2. And I think that's playing around with the resonance, I think. Sounds, not sure, maybe it's not. It brings out all this extra crackly top end. It's really nice. And then we've got this pot here which interacts with the gain, I believe. So let's explore it a little bit. Let's take that kick drum out. I've just shortened the decay. So this is something that I'll do. As I'm jamming, I'll just shorten the decay of the kick drum and then bring it back in, and it kind of squashes that hi-hat out the way. Even with a long decay on that hi-hat. We get that. Now I appreciate this isn't for all types of music, but this certainly works for my music that I'm making. A lot of time if I'm doing sample packs and stuff like that. And that's what happens when we start playing around with these. You can kill it. In fact, you can actually go like 100 times gain. So with that filter pretty much closed, it's just focusing on the kick drum really. That's it with the hi-hat. So you can kind of perform with it. It's quite nice. Cranking the input all the way in, it's almost kind of square waving now. And that's what I want to try and avoid really when I'm using distortion units. I want to avoid it just square waving because it doesn't really become that useful to me anymore. Plus I find if you leave that little bit of headroom more on the input, you just get more to play around with. And I love how it starts feeding back in between the kick drums and you get this kind of sucking. Yeah. Some really nice sweet spots to find with how that filter interacts with what's going on here. Take the kick drum out. Oh. I did say this is going to get freaky. Take the output, go into the input. And it kind of cancels itself out a little bit in a way. Depends what you're after really. Just take it back down instead of 100 times. I mean, who puts a switch on there that allows you to do 100 times more distortion? Look, yeah, I love it. So again, that kind of stretchy, really nice tones. Just finding that interaction of all the different elements there. Now, another thing that I like to do, instead of using that input there, what I might do is just take an oscillator and I'll just take the output of that oscillator. I've got the 4MS ensemble here because it's one of my favorites. Run that into the input. And you can kind of tune it to where you want it to sit right, and it almost creates a bass line. In fact, I may even have something playing in my sequencer here. Let's have a look. So you know what, that might be nice going through some reverb first. And then into the 100 grit. Listen to that. So that's it without the reverb. With the reverb. So that's another thing that I do quite a lot is oscillator, reverb, reverb, then into the distortion. And that's that balance between the two inputs, input 1 and input 2, and you get one fighting over the other. So we could go more subtle with that gain if we wanted to. Just dialing things back a little bit, just give it all a little bit more space, stop it square waving. Hi-hats. Maybe we'll just bring some modulation into those. We can do. Got the Batumi here, and let's just take out sine waving into here. Just add in that extra distortion. Can be useful, as can, let's add some more to FM2. Just actually opening and closing that, I believe. Let's put that on a square wave instead. And the gain. So we can get this kind of gating effect with it, because ultimately it's kind of just turning that up and down, I believe. Let's try a saw. Bring back in this. gone somewhere completely different now. If you just want good old-fashioned. We can get back there. So yeah, didn't want to make this a massive long video, but I just wanted to share just like how awesome this is, how fun it is to play around with. Just to remind you, that's what it sounds like. One thing that I've not actually tried is actually using this output here as well. Not using the input 2 anymore. Using this output here actually to FM. Sort of taking itself back into itself. Into here. Oh, that's quite nice. Suddenly giving me that constant whoop. I don't think it knows what to do with itself when it does that. So what I'd do is usually I'd record maybe a big sort of jam with this, find some of the loops that I like, some of the kick drums that I like, and then layer the original back over the top with it, which might be, as I said at the start of this video, it might be actually 4 kick drums that I've got laid up in here, along with maybe the Mandrake, the Perquons kick drum as well that I really like, and yeah, a bunch of others that I have, and it's just finding like just really cool sound that just glues them all together, layering this with it. So if you go listen to my track Movement, essentially it's mainly this. You're just hearing kick drum, and then you're hearing distortion kind of swelling and moving when the kick drum's not there. It's just mainly this module. The other thing that I'd also do is add in some white noise into this. So instead of having the feedback swell between the kick drums, I can use noise instead. And we're not a million miles away from my track movement, which is pretty much that. Bring in some chords over it. Layer up at the extra kick drum just for some extra weight, and you're good. So yeah, that's the 100 grit. I hope I haven't blown your speakers with this. Yeah, just a fun one this, and great module. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to hit the bell, like and subscribe. Really appreciate all of your support. And yeah, I'll see you soon with some more videos. Bye for now.